Good evening and welcome everyone to Studio W, your global radio network. We circle the globe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with some of the finest programs you can look at and listen to anywhere around the world. And Groove Swing Speaks, I guess what we can give them that honor as well. As always on Tuesday, that's 4 p.m. on the West Coast, 7 p.m. on the East. That makes it 6 Central Time. And we've got a very special guest on today. And we'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, guys, if you're listening on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, you can also take that app with you. And you can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that app is Studio W. You can go to your Apple App Store or your Google Play Store and download Studio W. Also, the website is Studio W. .buzz, Studio W. .buzz. Like I said, Groove Swing Speaks. We come on each and every Tuesday, and we want to bring the finest. We bring on entrepreneurs, artists, anything from A to Z, music to architecture, business entrepreneurs, authors, just about anything you can think of. We're waiting for to open the show. We've got brother Maurice Smith. That's Fast and Reliable Services out of Chicago, and I see he's looked like he's having some technical difficulties there. Brother Robert Smith, he's trying to chime in. And so, guys, I don't know what you've been experiencing tonight, but in many cases, they are having problems uh, with their internet. We're doing fine here. I see my brother Clayton Brown. How are you, sir?
Good evening, brother. How are you? Hello, Melody.
Melody?
Hi, Clayton.
Good to see you.
Hi, Clayton.
Hello. Hey, Tiffany.
Good to see you.
Robert. Good to see you, sis. How are you?
Robert Hicks, Fellowman Robert Hicks. And guys, if you don't know, Fellowman Maurice Smith, he's still trying to get in. I can see him buffering right there. And we have Tiffany Hilliard. And Fellowman Robert Hicks, he's also one of the panelists. And he is my new co-host on the fourth Thursday of every year, or every month rather, on Coast to Coast. And in case you guys don't know, he has a new moniker, and that is Bobby Hits.
As with everything in life, pretty much there's a little bit of technical difficulty that we have to go through in life. But basically the idea, if you push through it, you push forward, and you know on the other side is going to come out very well, and no issues or problems whatsoever.
Okay.
It's a matter of just seeing the end in sight and understanding that what you see the end goal in life, that basically you want to know that it's there, it's possible, and that includes everything, especially with any technical difficulties. No matter if your cable bill was paid or not paid or anything of that nature, you know that we've got the show for you tonight. This is Groove Swing Speaks, and this is episode number 126 this evening. So we thank you for being here this evening. And absolutely. I see the boss is back on the scene, and everything is all good and well. And shout out also first and foremost to Rock, our sister Rock, who gets everything together here on this show. We could not do these episodes, we cannot do the shows without you. So wherever you are in this great country of ours, thank you. And we appreciate you very much.
We definitely appreciate that. And like Robert said, this is episode 126. Guys, can you believe it? It seems like we just started this maybe a few months ago, but we've been blessed to be able to bring you just great guests. And today is no different. I see Tiffany Hilliard, brother Maurice Smith, the internet kicked him off. So we're going to kick the show off. And I'm going to ask Tiffany, and her picture is frozen. Tiffany, I'm going to ask that you introduce our special guest tonight. Okay. I guess the internet guards, they are not with us. And so tell you what, Melody, let's do this. Why don't you tell us, who is Melody Harris?
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Please continue.
Okay, great. All right. is Melody Harris. I'm the guest of episode 126. I didn't put it in my bio, but I am a groove sweetheart from Virginia State University. So I want to make sure that you all know that. Well, I'm a myriad of things. My bio, which really does a timeline from high school all the way to where I am now. I'm an artist, a performing artist, and it started years ago. I am a retired special education teacher, English teacher, and drama teacher. I have a bachelor's degree in mass communications and English literature. I have a teacher certification in fine arts from Howard University and a master's from George Washington University in transition special education. I'm here today. I was invited by Tammy Russell Meadows. And I don't know, how much I'm to go on, but I guess there's a set of questions for me where I'll be telling more about myself. I am the founder of the Virginia State Alumni Theater Ensemble, which is a collection of alumni that have come together to do major productions for students in need. We have collected quite a bit of money for those students who find themselves unable to go to school from semester to semester due to poverty. I currently have a one-woman show featuring artists from the alumni ensemble, and it is called "Where Is God in Our Stories?" And on the audience, sometimes they change it for corporations who don't necessarily prefer hit
Okay.
as a result of American literature being pulled off. Yes, is okay.
Okay. Sister Melody. Melody, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask because you
yes, I
are cutting.
can.
Okay, you've been cutting in and out. And let's continue for a few seconds. If not, for a few minutes, let's see if you continue to buffer or stall a little bit. If not, I'm going to ask you to log out and log back in. But continue. Okay. Tiffany, she's frozen. Okay. This has been happening, ladies and gentlemen, over the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is, but Wi-Fi is tricky. We've been fortunate because I use Ethernet myself. I use Ethernet, and so let's see. Brother Smith is trying to chime back in. He's having internet issues. So I guess it's something that's going on around the country. I'm not exactly sure. As a matter of fact, I went to Google. I said, "What is happening?" And it was saying that internet there is a real, maybe it's an overload. I'm not exactly sure, and that's why we plug directly into the system itself. And I want to thank Sister Tammy Russell also, who is a sister and a supporter of this network. Let's see, we've got brother Maurice Smith. Maurice, okay, we'll come back to Melody in a second. Maurice, he's frozen. Okay, all right. Uh, okay, let's see if we can, Maurice, I'm going to ask you to chime out and come back in. All right. Now, let's go back to Sister Melody. Now, Melody, is that better?
Well, I'm going to the local school so I can pick up a good internet signal. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you better now. Yes. Now,
Okay.
okay. And Tiffany?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Now, you had something that Sister Melody, she told us a little bit about herself, but I'd like for you to just read off a little bit about her accomplishments because they're extensive and it's a lot to unpack.
Okay. I'll read a little bit here. It says Melody E. Harris is a native of Norfolk, Virginia, and a graduate of Indian River High School in Chesapeake, Virginia. She attended and graduated from Virginia State University and earned a Bachelor's of Arts degree in English and a minor degree in Mass Communications of May of 1981. Continuing studies include a teacher certification in fine arts from Howard University in Washington, D.C., where she concentrated in theater studies. Melody also received Masters of Transition, Special Education, and an Education Specialist degree from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. Melody has over 30 years of, community and professional experience in the field of theater arts as an actor, director, and teacher. She has finally retired uh, from public school education and now has the freedom to educate via various art forms, including that of stand up comedy, areas of stagecraft, visual art, and her most recent passion of storytelling. Her current experiences take her to arenas that seek to share American history, especially that which highlights and celebrates African and American accounts and figures, often not taught in covered or in public schools. And that is some of her bio.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Melody, like I said, now I hope we have a better connection now. It's quite extensive, and there's something I wanted to talk. I wanted to start off with your starting off being a teacher and dealing with special ed. Why was that something that you had a passion for? Why did you start there? Okay, wait a minute. Oh, let's unmute your mic. Let's do that. Okay.
Can you hear
You have
me?
to- yes, we can. Very good.
All right. Why special education? Well, I kind of found myself in special education actually needing a job. I was a hired after touring in theater for a while and wanting something a little more stable. And I wound up being a drama teacher in a juvenile facility. And that
Okay.
just took me eventually into special education, where I wanted to learn more about students with disabilities and how to include them in the general population and general activities. So one thing led to another, and it has been a really rewarding career.
Okay. Well, my thing is special ed. It is, and it's the reason why they call it special ed because that segment of our population needs attention. And so, tell us about some of the rewarding experiences that you had dealing in that special education field.
Well, I was able to be involved in a lot of lobbying for students with disabilities as far as their civil rights. I was called a transition specialist in that area, and my job was to make sure that students linked up to adult connections after they graduated from or aged out of services. So I consider that job really important in that field because even though you educate them with academics, the life
Mhm.
skill, the secondary education, the adult living was a big part. There is no need to do all of the academics if they're not going to link into services that address their interest and their post education interests. So my job was to make sure that systems did exactly what they were federally mandated to do to prepare students into adult life. And so the service started at 14. And so there was a lot of resistance. There's a lot of resistance and stigma around special education. And my
Mhm.
job was to dispel all of that and make sure that they're included so that they can get as close to their post secondary goal as possible.
Okay. I see. Our sister Tammy Russell. She says she wants to make sure that everyone knows that three Trojans are present. Virginia State. She wants
Gotta
to make sure
recognize.
that everyone knows that. And as a matter of fact, I wish I had it at my disposal right now, but because I've been studying some of the great people that came out of Virginia State University, great people. I mean, that history makers. I'm not going to hog it right now. I'm going to go to Robert, and then Clayton, and then back to Tiffany. And let's start with Robert. What questions or comments do you have for our brilliant groove sweetheart?
Thank you, thank you, and thank you very much, Miss Melody, for being here this evening. I'll save my questions about Virginia State for a little bit later on, but my question basically.
Watch yourself.
My question is based upon one of your experiences is you actually had the chance to do your various different performances in St. Croix. Now, what did you see there? Is there any cultural differences, or maybe the culture from the Virgin Islands infused here in the U.S. and what you were able to witness, I would say?
Well, yeah, there were cultural differences, but then there was a lot because it is a part of the U.S. that kind of transferred. But it is island living. There are everything is imported. All of the foods that we are used to are imported. So sometimes you got to wait on some Oreo cookies or whatever you're looking for because it hasn't reached the island. So you have to learn at that point to eat from the land. So I learned how to do that. When I first got there, I had no idea that I had so much fruit on the property that I was living on. The students there are pretty much the same, but they wear uniforms, so you can identify them when they're not in school. They also, when I was there, rode bareback horses to school as transportation. So yes, there was a lot of cultural differences, but because it was U.S., it was also funded heavily by the federal government as far as education. The National Guards had a heavy presence there and were involved in the schools. The government, they don't get to vote for president. However, they celebrated when Obama actually was elected president. The celebration all down the islands was much bigger than what I found when I came home. So lots of differences. And I love the lifestyle and how slow things were there. I slowed down moving from DC to St. Croix.
Yes, definitely a laid back atmosphere, and basically almost the idea of having like no stress, no worries at all, basically. However, it also is good to see another culture, basically, in regards to the way that they live their lives, and maybe we could learn something from them as well. Also, that one of the things that switching to some of your various different programs here, you also had your interest in. It says here your interest in the theater began after non-traditionally cast in a specific role, and was it always basically that's your idea of having that theater bug in you, or how did it basically blossom into how it is today?
Well, I actually think I was born that way. Being a only child for about 10 years, I had to entertain and perform for myself, and it just kind of stuck. My parents saw something in me, so they enrolled me in fine arts classes when I was 5 or 6 years old at Norfolk State University, enrichment programs for youth. So I had the opportunity to study visual arts, performing arts, and music. So it just kind of stuck, and it turned out to be very an asset for me in all arenas, whether I'm teaching in the classroom, performing on stage, making a speech or a presentation, and I'm acting right now. So it just started from birth, I would think, as soon as I started to communicate.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And definitely we'll have the questions again for VSU in a little bit later on.
Okay. Clayton?
Yes,
Oh,
good
right.
evening. Good evening. Hello, Melody. How are
Good
you?
evening.
Yeah, that's an
Hi,
old friend of
Clayton. How are
mine.
you?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's good to see you.
It's good to be seen, and it's good to see you as well.
Thank you so much. And before we get started, I want to shout out to one of the finest institutions in the country. That's Virginia State University. Shout out to those mighty Trojans that's online and all those other haters out there. You know what to do. And before you get started, Robert, my brother, Melody,
I
listen,
know what to say, but we would be kicked off the air if I had to say what I was about to say.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
watch your mouth, brother. Okay. Well, I also want to thank
Okay.
our sister.
Hey,
I
Clayton,
also
turn your
want to
mic up,
thank
but
our
just a little
sister
bit. Turn
Tammy
your mic up a little.
Russell and our sister Rock for the many prayers that they sent out and being on the prayer line every Sunday when we was going through things. And I must say, my prayer report is I'm doing well. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you guys. Uh, Melody, I think Robert kind of stole the question that I was going to ask because I wanted to know what prompted you to go to St. Croix and your experience there, but you've already covered that. But in your bio, you also stated that you were invited to Denmark. Is that correct?
Um, yes, the University of Copenhagen. Then St. Croix, the Danish West Indies, is a part of the Danish West Indies that was owned by Denmark before the U.S. purchased it. So Denmark is very much into reparations, and so they gifted through the arts, through studying architecture and athletics. A lot of the students can attend college there free of charge, or they can come and participate in athletics and then go to their HBCUs in the States or wherever they're going to go. But they really are into um, art that expresses oppression of people of the African diaspora. So when they saw my performance, when my last performance in St. Croix, I got quite a few interests, and we are talking now. I'm actually afraid to go over there for some reason. I don't traveling to Europe, but I'm on the books, and I'm hoping to go there very soon to perform my one-woman show.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, that's
As
amazing.
one art lover to another, your play, if I'm saying it right, for Colored Girls, where will you all be performing next?
Okay, now the play for colored girls who considered suicide when the rainbow is enough was written by Intozake Shange. It was performed, I first saw it at Virginia State University in like my junior year. I walked into Harris Hall and I saw these young ladies performing in colors. And I was so fascinated by the dialogue and the content. I said to myself, one day I'm going to come back here to Virginia State and produce it. I just put it in the universe. And almost 30 years later, I came back and found a wonderful group of actors to um, to perform this particular play about women, abuse, resurrection, um, and finding self in God. And that's the play that we use to raise over $50,000 per student in one weekend, for students who were under the poverty level of $11,000. So we saved a lot of students. As a result of that, we toured it to different colleges, and we named ourselves the Colored Girls. But the play, I must give credit to the author, Intozake Shange.
That's fantastic. Now, one more question. I know you have been an advocate for the community and awareness to our people. What would you say to the listeners that's out there today going forward to the end of this year, knowing that our elections are coming up and our vote is going to be very important? What would you say to the listeners out there today?
Well, it's so much to think about, but I first started um, my personal project, and I'm going to say I think it came from God, having performed different historical figures for years. When I heard that certain literature was being pulled from the shelves that included some of the works of Langston Hughes and Amanda Gorman, and
Mm,
even Mark Twain, um, I said to myself, I've got to do something about this. So
mhm.
I went old school kind of because we taught ourselves our own history and we did not rely on the public school to do it. So I took on the assignment of
Right.
going wherever I could to bring back some of these historical events that were never taught, were altered or hidden in history. Did a lot of research. I studied under a woman named Dr. Cassandra Newby Alexander, who was a professor at Norfolk State. And she was so passionate about the content. I was learning things that I had never experienced, like where enslaved people hid out for 400 years and were not tampered with here in the Dismal Swamp in uh, North Carolina.
Mm,
So I just kept fueling this information about all of our history. And in my dialogue, I ask communities to start the story of our history at their own dinner table with grandma, because a lot of
mm,
students do not know grandma's name, and the things that they did to empower themselves. I want people to understand that if we are here right now, we're survivors. So we've already been through a lot.
come
And
on.
now we find ourselves under an administration that does not welcome us, does
Mm,
not support us, does not love us, and so many other things. And we might be deflated, but we've been through similar suppression before. And so I encourage
yes.
my audiences to continue to learn the history, dig for the history. Don't rely on the federal government to teach us our history, and to use that to fuel us to understand what voting really means for our people, because the young people don't get the connection. So we have to find a way to connect them to. I always tell students, we are waiting for you to join us in the age of majority so that you can vote in elections. And I also say, if you don't have enough desks in your schools, enough computers in your schools, then is important for you to prepare to vote, especially if you're going to be 18, to make sure your voice is heard. So we
Mm.
do need the young voices right now. Otherwise, whatever we have gained will leave us when we will leave this place, when we leave this earth. So I'm
That's
very
it.
passionate. I'm glad you picked up on that,
Yeah,
Clay.
absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for that. We appreciate that because we need more of you like that out there, along with the brothers that's out there for the cause. Thank you so much, Melody.
And I tell you,
You're
Virginia
so
State
welcome.
is rich in the culture and academics and the like. And like I said, there's one article I'm trying to find right now that I want to pull up. It was this brother that I want to talk about a little bit later on in the program if we have time. But Virginia State University has an incredibly rich legacy of Black excellence, founded in 1882 as the nation's first fully state-supported four-year college for Black Americans. The university is deeply rooted in history and has been led by and produced some of history's most influential Black figures, uh, founding and leadership heroes John Mercer Langston, you guys probably know a lot about this more than I do. A renowned abolitionist, educator, and diplomat. In 1888, he became the first African American elected to Congress from Virginia. He served as the very first president of what is now BSU. Delegate Alfred W. Harris, a black attorney in the Virginia General Assembly who drafted and sponsored the 1882 bill to charter the university, then called the Virginia Normal and Collegiate Institute. Trailblazing alumni, Reginald F. Lewis, a titan of business and one of the wealthiest black Americans of the time. Dr. Christian Darden, a celebrated NASA mathematician, aerospace engineer, and sonic boom expert who shattered barriers in the agency's space program. Dr. Mary Hartford Futrell, a prominent national educator who served as the president of the National Education Association, the NEA, and a champion civil rights in the classroom. James Avery, legendary actor, best known for portraying Uncle Philip Banks, on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Guys, and it goes on and on and on. I couldn't be prouder of you. I can't be prouder of the university. And this is absolutely inspiring, absolutely inspiring. I want to go to a melody. It's something that we touched on earlier in this. We don't do interviews. We have conversations. Something I heard, did I miss something? Do you also do stand-up comedy, or did stand-up comedy?
Yes, I dabble in it. I do. Before we start, I would like to add Reverend Tammy Russell Meadows on that list of prominent figures. I didn't hear her name, so I want to make sure her name is on that list. But yes, I do comedy. I write comedy. I have done stand-up, and in my show, I use comedy in order to deliver hard content, like what our people went through during the Jim Crow era. So I use it to approach the audience as though they are on stage with me or with us, and it opens doors in arenas that I normally wouldn't present this content, like the Yorktown, the Republican Yorktown women of Yorktown who asked for me to come. It was hard for them to swallow what their ancestors had demonstrated as it applied to Jim Crow. But if you're laughing at the same time, you get to digest it a little better. Right. So comedy opens up the door for discussion between both sides of the fence. Yes.
You know, I tell you what, along those lines, I heard a long time ago, there's a lot of truth in comedy. A lot of truth in comedy. So I agree with you 1,000,000%. And so it is so much to unpack. Now, how did your acting, your sense of humor, how did that impact you as an educator? Or how did it impact the students as an educator? From an educator, rather.
Well, it's just something I bring with me. I got voted as a senior superlative in high school as the class clown. So it's been with me, and right. It's hard to beat down in the classroom. My students don't know how I'm going to come in there. Right. They don't know what I'm going to do, but I am constantly using satire and parody and all kinds of figurative language to do icebreakers, to make them think. Comedy makes you think. I think it was one comedian that said, if you don't get it now, go home and it will come to you later. So I use it to help for reading, comprehension, to help students become more confident in themselves. And I have used it with students with autism, because sometimes they're lacking that affect to know at least when to laugh and when not to laugh. And I just find it a powerful. If I can blow my own horn, it is a powerful gift that has been given to me to be able to stand up to all kinds of adversity.
Hmm. Hmm.
Comedy paves the way.
Uh-huh. Now, have you given workshops to other educators and sort of shared your gift with them and maybe help them maybe change their approach to education?
Yes, that is something in education called differential instruction. And that means it's away from the lecture, more hands on, more kinesthetic, using your senses to deliver instruction. So that's a
Hmm.
hard thing for some, like, say, a physics teacher sometimes, or someone who is rooted in instruction only. So yes, I worked for Wolf Trap Institute of Early Learning, which is a venue outside of Washington, D.C., that houses a lot of concerts. But they hired artists to come in to prepare, to train teachers on how to use their art form in the classroom.
Come
So
on.
whenever I do a training, anyway, I it is always interactive. I use improvisation to have teachers come up on stage with me and act out a problem or a solution. And it sort of breaks the ice. And then you find out who your hams are and who your actors are and who your artists are. And you try to find that in every person who is participating because it's in there. It's in there. And sometimes through training, professional development training, which is often very boring, um, it's a way to just get teachers to kind of change their mindset
Hmm.
and begin to look at what they also have inside of them that they can add to the classroom setting.
Hmm. In other words, bring more personality to your teaching, right? And I can see that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I can see that because we all had our favorite teachers, and they were different from like the standard teacher up there on the blackboard. Okay, guys, open your books. We're gonna go to page whatever it is. But you have to, like I said, Rob says, improv is cool. Bring your personality to the classroom, right? Don't leave it at the door. Bring it
Yes.
in there, and I think the students will be more receptive. Robert.
Yes, absolutely. Um, because we are all basically all different people, all different styles, and everybody comes together and just makes a beautiful mosaic, a
Mhm.
beautiful picture. Um, I wanted to ask, you had mentioned, Miss Melody, that you were a group sweetheart. I want to say that again at Virginia State University. Um,
Yes.
if you can probably just tell maybe some of your stories about Virginia State University, and please keep it clean for the audience because we have little kids listening onto it. But they want to get the experience of actually being at Virginia State University. So go ahead.
I became a groove sweetheart um, because of Clayton's line. I was so impressed with their step show and how classy the gentlemen were, and I decided as a freshman, because I hadn't been exposed to all everything and everybody, that was the organization I was going to tie myself to. And so that's how and they were popular, everybody liked them, um and I just wanted to be a part of that environment. So that's basically, as a freshman, who was unbeknownst to quite a lot. I felt safe with them. Um, they took care of me and the sweethearts, and I think I made the right decision to this day to be a part of that culture.
Yes, absolutely. And everything that you mentioned, yes, even to this day is true and factual.
Mhm.
We are the grooves are the best steppers. We always treat women with utmost respect, and also we make sure that we are guardians every so often. We never let you down. Um,
Absolutely.
yes. Um, now basically that now you're native of Norfolk, Virginia. You've traveled all around. What has probably been the best experience that you have as a like the best place that you've traveled to? and perhaps maybe it was with your play, without your play, what probably would it be?
What else? Leaving out some of the local discoveries that I have experienced here recently, I'm going to say Israel.
Hmm.
I'm a preacher's kid, so and have a good relationship or a evolving relationship with God ever since I was a child. At my grandfather's feet, I listened to the stories in the Bible, and so now I find myself in Israel, being able to make life application to it, and to walk the 12 steps where Jesus Christ walked, and I'm the only child in the mission. I was consumed with just joy, just to be able to be, whether that was the place he really walked or not, I felt close to God. And I still feel it. I still feel it that I was in a place where Jesus walked. And I think that's one of my biggest dreams, to have been able to do that. I'm ready to go back again, but not now. But I've been there, and I wasn't able to get baptized in the River Jordan because there was strife there then. There were landmines in the water, but I was able to get into the Dead Sea and just experience a lot of things that I had been taught as a child.
Absolutely wonderful, wonderful. Clayton?
Yeah, it seems like you had a vast amount of experience. I hope you all can hear me because I was told to turn up my mic, but hopefully you can hear me clearly. But like they always say, experience is your best teacher. There's something that no one can take away from you. They can guess what's going on overseas because Melody, just like you, I had the opportunity to be stationed over there, over in Europe, but I didn't get a chance to go to Israel. The closest I got, I think it was Egypt. Uh, but I did get to see one of the oldest amphitheaters that was built before Christ. And that kind of took me back in a spiritual sense. And that happened right at the time that 9/11 happened. And we were called at the time we was getting ready to set up a NATO summit at this old amphitheater. This was in Bulgaria. And just the fact of going over there and you seeing all the old things that people spoke about. But one thing they didn't do was tell a lot of the truths. But when you go over there, you find out what really happened, talking to the people that walk the walk. So I can understand totally what you kind of experience. I can't speak for you, but creatively, I think that brought a lot to the table when you came about and flourished as a performer as well. Am I right by saying that?
Absolutely. That's why my personal show is called "Where Is God in Our
Mm,
Stories," and I will tell you, you may have walked the footsteps of Moses while you were in Egypt. And I also would like to clear up some of the facts that we were taught that the colonists came before the enslaved people, but my research takes me back 10,000 years before the colonists, where Egyptian vessels were sent to the New World. So there's a lot that you probably felt in Egypt as well.
that is absolutely true. Yeah, I would like to be able to visit Israel, but not anytime soon. And
No, you're gonna have to watch the Ten Commandments.
yeah, yeah, because I'm feeling a certain kind of way with all the things that's being played out uh, through Israel, and I don't think I want to go over there and visit that country anytime soon. But thank you so much for enlightening us on your experiences, because you have a serious history that a lot of people would like to hear about.
Thank you. As long as God continues to put it in me, I'm going to share.
Right on, right on, right on. Thank you so much. William, where are you?
I think he's coming back in a moment, but I'll probably would say, Miss Melody, um, with all the projects that you have done so far, people always like to ask, what's next for you? What is your next project? Or say, for instance, is something that you have, excuse me, a divine calling for your next work? And if you would like to share that, you can.
I believe that my next work, I do caricatures and I put Bible verses underneath it. So I want to be published with that. But my next stage performance will be something about my own family. I have a lineage of educators in my family. My great grandmother went to college, and my grandmother got her master's in 1939 against all odds at Columbia University. And all of their sisters, they went together and they were able to educate sharecroppers in North Carolina, Washington County. They educated students in New York, and they educated students in Virginia Beach, and they did not stop teaching. They taught until they died. And something about an African American woman who fought all odds back in the 1930s, um, even voter rights, all of the things that they had to through to come to a place where they could help young people and continue that their legacy is moving through me. So I think I owe them um, homage to write their story and put it in play form and a narrative that more than just the people I show on stage, but maybe actually it may be made to the film community.
Absolutely. A lot of people probably were not aware of the fact that, yes, even in the early parts of the 1900s, there was a lot that was going on in New York and in New York and stuff, even the North as a whole, that had very subtle differences from the South, but they still were prevalent. Nowadays, it's some things have changed, although that struggle and that fight still continues on. And it's with stories that we have to even share from our own experiences to the masses itself, to get people to understand what it is that we are still going through, even in today's time. So definitely, Miss Melody, that's something that should be taught, and much success on that front and on that project as well. Basically, there's a lot that, once again, a lot of stuff to uncover, and your experience now also with the idea of the storytelling. That basically, do you still do some work with students like today? Like, say, for instance, in like elementary school, middle school, high school students, when it comes down to teaching them about the arts and being able to do stage plays as well.
Yeah, I still work with high school students, but I also have taken my show on the road to schools. So the good thing about that is I encourage students to come out of the audience and get on stage with me to portray characters. For example, um, Henry Box Brown, who shipped himself from Richmond, Virginia to Pennsylvania to escape slavery. I have a box on stage, and the kids want to just get in the box and pretend like they're Henry Box Brown. I have students come and guess how many jelly beans are in a jar, because that was one of the voter suppression tools that
Mm,
were
that's
that
right.
African Americans were subject to be able to get an application. So the kids are out there trying to guess, and I don't. And I had a teacher, a white teacher, say, "Can one of them get it right?" No, no one is going to get it right because no one has counted it, and that is the point, Miss Teacher. So I get the kids to come up, and maybe they can feel it a little better on stage with me, performing. If they and they're being the musicians, they're being Queen Zenga, the warrior princes that stopped enslavement from entering Portugal. I mean Angola. So they get up there and put on all these costumes, and then they take a bow at the end. And I think for that moment that they are on stage with me, something is sinking in, and something in the audience gets to see their peers up there performing as well. So I love doing it with students.
Excellent. And Sister Tammy was just mentioning that. Could you do a small snippet of one of your characters, if possible?
Tammy. um let's see. Let's see what I can do. I feel like I'm on the spot right now. Oh, I have a poem by Ntozake Shange from the Colored Girls. I'll try to get some of that out.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Um Dark phrases of womanhood. Never having been a girl. Half notes scattered without rhythm and no tune. Are we ghouls? Children of horror? The joke? Women, are we clowns? I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything but the maddening screams and the soft strain of death. And you, black man, you promised me. You promised me. Somebody, anybody, hear a black girl's song and her infinite possibilities. She's been dead for so long, closed up in silence so long. Bring her out to know herself, to know you. She dances on beer cans and shingles. Bring her out to know herself and all of her possibilities. She's a colored girl, and she deserves to hear her song. Help her do it. For Colored Girls by Ntozake Shange.
Outstanding.
Outstanding, 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 outstanding. Wow. I have to say, we've had out of 126 episodes, we've had some brilliant guests on, orators, entrepreneurs, and the like. And I have to say, I'm going to tell the audience right now, uh, we've had some favorite shows. This is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
This is absolutely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It is absolutely incredible, incredible, incredible stuff. And I have to. I'm going to ask you, Melody. Do you think, because look at the HBCUs that have produced so many, so many, so many greats. What do you think about us? Because they're trying to erase our history. It's not going to work. Let's talk about and talk to our young people about attending an HBCU and what does that mean. And I'm going to ask you, attending Virginia State University and other HBCUs out there, what does it really mean? Because I'm going to say this and then I'm going to toss it over to you. And if you will answer that, I would really appreciate that. Many of you know about Dr. Gladys West, okay? A pioneer mathematician. I don't know whether I mentioned her before or not. Two-time Virginia State University graduate, developed the mathematical and geodetic algorithms, laid the foundation for the modern GPS. And I'm gonna tell you right now, without GPS, I would be lost right now. I'm telling you right now. She completed both her bachelor's degrees in 1952 and master's in 1955, degrees in mathematics at Virginia State University, and she began a historic career of naval proving ground. What do you say about us and preserving our history is to tell our children about HBCUs?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is there are so many students who are not getting the story told to them at home. There are so many young people whose parents don't even bring up college to students. And so it is up to the schools sometimes and the organizations to help students find their way to college in the first place. That the parents even have to be educated. So we can't leave these parents out. They have to be a part of this partnership to help students pursue post-secondary education. Then we have to teach them and show them and take them on these college tours so that they can see. And if they don't have the money, we got to make sure they get the money to
That's
go
right.
on the field trip to go to see these colleges. I took some students to Howard who lived in Washington and they thought it was another city. So if they're contained in their neighborhoods with their parent who is not talking about college, then how will they ever go to college in the first place? Um, I talk about HBCU because you're going to find the people that look like you, who are doing things positive, who are excelling, who are were encouraged by a guidance counselor, someone to go to this school, whether an HBCU, and if they're going to a non HBCU, to find the program in the school, the Black Studies program, so that they can still connect to their history and the culture. Also, we keep saying we don't have a leader like Martin Luther King. We don't have that kind of leadership, and that's because we're not looking in the in school suspension where the next Martin Luther King might be sitting. So we have to have great expectations for our children, because some the school system doesn't have the highest expectation because they're so into testing. But and we also needed to bring the churches involved in our partnerships because we've lost that connection. When we need to hold the churches accountable for
Mhm.
teaching, because a lot of our churches, if it wasn't for the HBCUs, they would not exist. So we need to bring that information back into the churches for the students. We need to do outreach and pull those children into the churches so that they can get the history, the true history about HBCUs and other accomplishments and achievements that African Americans have done. So it is not based on any group. It is a collection of groups right now. We need to do that. And I don't think we're as successful as we think we are.
Right. Wow. We're almost out of time. And I'm going to bring on Brother Maurice Hicks. I'm sorry, Maurice Smith, shortly because he want to tell you about his service, his uh, service to the conclave coming up, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But I love this,
Okay.
and googling um, about Virginia State University and the brilliance that came out of there. There is one artist that I hope one day soon that when I Google and he'll bring up his name, and he's on this panel right now is my biological brother and my groove brother, Clayton Brown, one of the most brilliant artists I've ever seen in my life. He's a humble man. He won't tell you, but if you guys have ever seen his work, you will recognize his genius. So, Clayton, I hope one day that we Google this, and as far as the artist is concerned, your name will pop up, my brother. Thank you for that. And
Thank you, bro.
Melody, you've got to come
Yes,
back because there's much,
I would
much, much.
love to. I enjoyed myself.
Well, we enjoyed having you. You're brilliant, you're uplifting, and I'm telling you, and you're a treasure. Thank you so much. Brother Maurice Hicks, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen,
Melody.
he has
Maurice Smith.
Maurice Smith. Hey, look, you have a service, and you're going to provide that service for the conclave coming up this year, next month, which is, let's see, what's tomorrow? Tomorrow is the first
July
of July,
1st.
right? And I want you to tell us about your service, fast and reliable. And when I think about Chicago, uh, that is needed there. I'm gonna just tell real quick, about 30 seconds. Chicago. it was back in the 90s, the last time I was in Chicago. And in Chicago, if you ask anybody for a direction, they look, I was there, and everybody I asked for a direction, including the toll booth person, they gave me wrong directions. I said, wow, so fast, reliable. Maurice Smith. Hey, tell us a little bit about your service. And you have a few minutes left, brother.
All right, thank you guys for having me on. And just disclaimer: I do not mind being related to Mr. Robert Hicks up in as a good brother right there.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
yeah, so I'm doing the transportation service to and from the airport. Today ended the $50 special, but for everybody who's listening, if you use the same flyer to contact me and you put in Groove Swing Speak hashtag Groove Swing Speak, I would give you a different special rate
No.
for participating in the show. Um, we're doing share rides. We're grouping everybody up. Far as the time frame they're coming into the airport, put them in different cars and buses. There shouldn't be a wait no more than 20 minutes for the most part. Some people are getting into a share ride rate and they're going to have their own car because nobody else is coming in at that time. Also, we're doing a round town service, just like Uber does, but you could contact my dispatcher directly and they will set you up with a car that's nearby. I'm going to have at least two or three cars that's going to be near the host hotel. Also, if you are buying things in Chicago, I have a delivery service, a cross country delivery service, actually worldwide because I do ship overseas. You could give your package to me, and I could see about it getting back to your home after Clave. So anything that you need to know about anything in Chicago, any special needs you need for Chicago, I'm also providing the ADA service in between the events. That bus will be running the full time between different events that's away from the hotel, like the boat ride and the Taste nightclub. So that's provided by Nationals. You don't have to worry about it. Hop on there. If you have a wheelchair, mobility chair, we're taking care of you. Anything that you need in Chicago, contact me directly at 773-294-0444. Again, that's 773-294-0444. Best way to contact me is through text. I'm busy, so calls may or may not get through to me. Also, my dispatcher that will be going out next week, Monday, contacting everybody who pre-registered is 312-224-8384. They'll be handling all transportation needs. That's 312-224-8384. All right, that's what all my spiel right there.
Hey, thank you for that, brother. Really
Thank
appreciate
you, brother.
that. Sister Melody, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again. We really appreciate that. Clayton, Robert, another epic episode of Groove Swing Speaks. And guys,
Thank you, Mel.
if you guys want more entertainment, let me get this back again. If you want to contact Maurice Smith and his company, that's 312-224-8384. Again, 312-224-8384. Now, if you want more entertainment, hey, just kick back, grab a glass, and come back because I'm doing our Tuesday night, the Soul Cafe. It's part 2 of the Lovers Edition. So, guys, stay tuned to the Buzz. Lock it in on the Buzz. Download that app, Studio W. That's Android or Apple. Their website, as usual, studiow.buzz, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And also, let's see, Alexa. I have to keep my voice down because she'll start doing some things. So, guys, thank you so much and welcome again. And join us again for another episode of Groove Swing Speaks next Tuesday, 7 p.m. on the East Coast, 4 p.m. on the West. Guys, thank you so much. It's been brilliant. It's been excellent. And I'll see you later. Enjoy your Tuesday.